Reddit reports. Like, subscribe and hit the bell. What brings the worst out in people? I always liked the halt rule. If you're feeling hungry, angry, late or tired, then it's likely things you say or do will come off worse than you intend. Edit, lots of replies about the L being lonely. That works too. Turns out learning acronyms differently brings out the worst in some people too.
One of my favorite quotes that is related to this: if you think everyone hates you, you probably need to sleep. If you think you hate everyone, you probably need to eat.
I've never heard this before, but I like it. Thank you.
I feel like this is how I got fat.
I thought the L was for lonely. Both work.
Weddings. My father is a minister. He says he would rather help with a funeral over a wedding any day. Weddings leave people with a sense of extreme desperation to achieve perfection.
My experience with this is that if you have a narcissistic family, it will become abundantly clear that they are not interested in your life whatsoever. Thanks to COVID, it didn't really happen as planned, so my family wasn't involved at all. We did a small ceremony with a few members of her family and it was lovely. It really worked out for the best. Red flags were flying the moment I told my mom, and she was upset that I didn't tell her first. My sister led with, "I'm not going if you invite Dad." My uncle and aunt rescinded their RSVP when we said we'd have to wait for all the RSVPs to come in before we let them add my cousin's boyfriend to the invitation. My other cousin got really upset that we weren't opening the wedding up to let kids be there. Apparently my wedding was going to be the opportunity for the rest of the family to see her infant. Lots of revelations were had. I'm sad my wife didn't have the wedding we worked hard for, but I'm glad it was really only around her family.
That sucks. I am sorry that happened to you. When I was planning my wedding, the only drama was my dad got upset when he misunderstood receiving a save the date to mean I wasn't having him walk me down the aisle. After I explained he was still, that was over with. Turns out all he cared about was making sure he got to walk me down the aisle.
That's actually really cute.
The worst is when the expectation for perfection is from the mother of the bride and not the engaged couple. Nothing worse than two kids trying to have a nice day and Momzilla just fucking decimates it because she can't stand not being the center of attention for one moment.
As someone in the wedding industry, this right fucking here.
As a hotel waiter who's served too many weddings, what's your secret to not dying of an aneurysm? I'm on a fucking brink.
Find somewhere quiet for a moment, take a few deep breaths, and then sneak a few of the drinks as quickly as possible.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Finding a nice quiet corner away from the hustle and bustle and taking a few minutes to get your bearings probably saved me from quitting on the spot multiple times. When I used to work at a banquet hall as a server, our coordinator, essentially our manager's manager, would sneak us drinks when the night was particularly shitty. Good times. Another thing I remember is that for some particular reason, people who went to weddings felt super entitled to extra service, which increased the closer that person happened to be related to the bride or groom. Not every wedding, just some. It's like, no ma'am, these dishes are made to order and there are 600 of you and 20 of us to serve you. I cannot go and tell the chefs to remove the tomato just because you don't want to eat it. What's that? You want me to get you a drink from the bar? Sorry, no can do. Gotta go hand out the rest of the food to the rest of the tables. Oh, you want to see my manager? She's right over there, running around trying to coordinate everyone. I can't even stop her, so you're welcome to attempt to do so yourself. Heavily paraphrased but almost accurate conversation I had to have with somebody over a fucking tomato. And the kids. Oh, if there's something I can live the rest of my life without ever having to deal with again is having some little spawn of Satan running around the hall at light speed while food is being served, just to have him ram full speed into my leg, causing me to drop, and break, some drinking glasses, to which this little child falls into said shards of glass, and me standing there getting berated by the parent for harassing their kid, and it's our cousin's wedding, he can do what he wants when I try to explain that everyone was told to sit down until the food was done being served. Again, actual situation that I had to deal with when working there. My parents would whoop my ass if I ever acted like that, both as a kid running around and as an adult whining about food.
We had this happen even though we didn't have a formal wedding due to COVID. We wanted just a small gathering of immediate family plus wedding party for dinner and meal. 1. Invited her extended family plus friends of hers that I don't really know at all. Wedding party declined to come because she invited so many people during a pandemic, so my best man didn't see me on my wedding day. 2. changed up our chosen catering plans and ordered different food without telling us. 3. Bought us a wedding cake in flavors I don't like. Then ate the top piece we were saving because I didn't like it. Wife did. 4. Was supposed to stay with us for a few days, then stay with friends, and instead was with us for a month leading up to the wedding and 2 weeks afterwards. 5. Threw a tantrum with my wife when we tried to set limits on her because we were singling her out. Edit. Getting a ton of replies, so I'll consolidate some of my replies here. We did indeed confront her and made her uninvite her friends. Wedding party still did not attend, including best man, but he had a newborn at the time, so I do not blame him for not risking it. Regarding number 4, the invasion of privacy was still super annoying, but to her credit she did pay for everything for us during the time as well as cook for us and clean, so she was carrying her weight even if it was unwanted. Overall still something we talked to her about. 2, 3, and 5 were annoying though, and eventually my wife exploded on her for it. Definitely a scenario where boundaries had not properly been established and had been completely crossed. I think she felt entitled as she was paying for it, which still does not make it okay. Wow. I hope the boundary talk has been had since this wedding took place, or you were in for it. Smile.
Oof, how did you guys let her do that? I hope you're able to set boundaries with her now, or this is the rest of your life.
Yep, exactly. It's even worse when there's divorced parents involved, and they're both trying to up the other one or think they shouldn't be involved. The level of pettiness and arguments with it is insane, and it doesn't even end up being about the couple anymore.
This was going to be my answer. I have watched 2 people that I knew to be kind and rational, become absolutely horrible people when they were planning their weddings. Ungrateful, rude, pushy, demanding, crazy, and overall just awful to be around. It's like they became possessed.
Some good answers here, to which I'll add, giving things away for free. I've had the surreal experience of working at a Long Island tennis tournament attended by generally very wealthy people. They arrived in top-end luxury cars or limos, wearing designer clothes, and watches worth more than my car. I was tasked with opening a case of some sort of little branded tchotchke, like cheap pens, keychains, etc., and handing them out to the attendees as they walked the sponsor areas. People went berserk, shoving each other, lunging across the table. Thank cripes there was a table, to grab stuff from my hand, missing key tennis matches to lurk by our tent, awaiting the next crap dispersal. Wow. I've seen this type of thing happen many other times too, with people going to great lengths just to get some pittance of which they have no need.
There was a line in Crazy Rich Asians, no one loves free stuff more than rich people.
I was floored how in the book all these extremely wealthy women who flew to Paris on a private jet that had a state-of-the-art yoga studio inside of it, wanted to take all of the hotel freebies, bottled water and cook ramen in their hotel room. LOL.
Or when Astrid was bidding for those scrolls but whipped out a stack of coupons at the grocery store, lol.
I was giving away a working fridge, and after dealing with 5 assholes, I decided to just throw shit away rather than try be nice. What a fucking waste of time that was.
I leave stuff out by the road with a sign on it so I don't have to deal with anyone.
Yeah, that's great until they decide everything in your yard is free. I put a free TV out front and 10 minutes later I see someone browsing the potted plants sitting in front of my house. Oh, there was a free sign. Yeah, you stupid bitch, a free sign on the TV 30 yards away. I got a little hot under the collar with that one. People are fucking trash.
I used to post whenever I'd leave shit on the curb for people to take. And I'd also get a lot of "can you deliver too?" I always say, if I have to drive anywhere to get this stuff off my property, it's going to the dump. The reason it's on the curb right now is because I'm lazy. Good luck.
Greater than, and I'd also get a lot of "can you deliver to?" Yeah, I've gotten that when posting free stuff on Craigslist. WTF, man? Fuck people. Divorce proceedings. Especially with kids involved. It can turn a couple of average people into monsters.
Marriage Story captures this extremely well. By the end of it, I just hated lawyers.
Listen, if we start from a place of reasonable and they start from a place of crazy, when we settle, we will be somewhere between reasonable and crazy. Unfortunately, this became more relatable than I would have imagined.
And it isn't even an exaggeration of what really happens. I have a coworker who is a great, fun, respectful person who told me her divorce proceedings went very similarly to what happened in the film. They both agreed to go on with the divorce without getting lawyers involved, but then started getting frustrated with each other, and it eventually evolved into bickering from both sides. This, in turn, led to them getting anxiety from talking to each other and getting lawyers, which led to more animosity. It has been 4 years and they're only now starting to get on better terms than they were when the divorce was finalized.
Ye but to Christmas.
Coming from someone who had their parents divorce at 10, I beg to differ on this. Spend the bulk of the day on the road with various people upset that you're not where they think you should be.
Greater than various people upset that you're not where they think you should be. My parents divorced when I was 3, this was a palpable part of my life until I started living on my own.
Thanksgiving is absolutely brutal. If I don't go to Mom, then I have her and 10 other family members upset I didn't go. If I don't go to Dad, then he spends Thanksgiving completely 100% alone by himself. As weird as it sounds, thank God for COVID this year. Spent Thanksgiving 100% alone myself, to be safe for all of us.
Honestly, I wish divorce with kids could be more amicable, but legit people get very bothered if you, God forbid, hang out with your other side of the family.
This right here. My parents married when I was 3, divorced a year later. And won't stop screaming and lying about each other since. They've mellowed down since I turned 18 and moved to another state. And Mom also moved to another state, so I don't have to hear their arguments. But Jesus, the lies and anger from them. At one point I had to tell them both to fuck off in a not too pleasant way. And stepmom has to turn it into I'm the bad guy now.
Christmases?
Christmas.
When you were told to wait 20 minutes and it's now been 21 minutes and you are still waiting.
If I ever have to give a wait time, I usually overestimate the time. They will be happy if it takes less time, but pissed if it's 1 minute more than what was quoted.
Hunger can make people do things they never thought they were capable of doing. It can drive your mind out of control.
I joked as a child once, when all we had in the fridge and pantry were condiments, that I called dibs on the steak sauce. I am always thankful for how much my parents did and do with so little.
I can't imagine having steak sauce. It's so weird, the things you think about and just roll with when really that's all you can do. When I was in elementary school they didn't have school lunches. I kept the same smashed cotto salami sandwich in my desk for the week because I didn't want anyone to know I didn't have lunch. Now my kid stands in a kitchen full of food and complains there is nothing to eat. Drives me bonkers, but also what a sense of relief that this is the tragedy for them.
Yep. I never really thought of us as food insecure. No one ever said you can't eat that, but often dinner for 10 was a dozen eggs and French fries, or 2 cans of corned beef hash, or pancakes. I didn't eat breakfast once I realized that it made it easier to skip lunch. I would have fried hard rolls with jelly, or coffee until I saved up enough for grilled cheese.
Being hungry is a cute word for a real phenomenon. Hunger often makes people cranky and tempers short. I, too, I've read that civilization is 3 missed meals away from anarchy.
Judges are more lenient after being fed. https://www.theguardian.com/law/2011/April/11/judges lenient break.
RIP all my peeps convicted before lunch.
When I go out with my 2 friends, one of them brings snacks for the other because she knows she gets grumpy when hungry.
My family went on a trip with my grandma and she was being an absolute bitch. By day 2 everyone was like, holy shit, this was a mistake. Normally she's the sweetest, but normally we're seeing her at her house, where strategically placed trays of bite-sized chocolates are always within reach. My dad figured it out mid-morning day 3 and it was a complete 180. She was a joy the whole rest of the trip. He just hand her chocolate every 2 hours or so. I think I see a Snickers ad here.
Wait, holy fuck, I understand the Snickers ad now. I feel so stupid.
Came here to say this. Most of the responses here have been events that happen a few times in a life, death, divorce, etc. Hunger will drive people to their most primal instincts incredibly fast, and every one of us is always a few days away from that possibility. I'll never forget my time in US Army Ranger School where you are purposely starved and exhausted for a good 2 to 3 months. I have seen people turn into outright fucking maniacs to beg, borrow, and steal food, while compromising every part of their otherwise stable character. That was less than 2 weeks in.
Without food and water, human civilization is 48 hours away from becoming vicious tribal warfare.